Some people would say that Bart is too young to get married, but Bart himself is ready to do whatever it takes to leave his pestering family behind, even if it means starting a pestering family of his own.
I'm pregnant.
The Simpsons family have all turned into little paper dolls. They're inned up to receive their familiar, iconic outfits. Once the paper outfits are added, the paper family can finally enjoy sitting on their couch. Whatever. One fine morning, Lisa worries about her latest school assignment. She needs to give a presentation on her family heritage, but the Simpson family is as dull as they can get. Their family has functioned on autopilot for the longest time. And now, Lisa has nothing to report on.
The Simpsons have never married or even shook hands with anyone interesting. In a world of 31 flavors, we're the cup of water they rinse the scoops in.
Of course, no one can really help Lisa, but after witnessing Bart's stupid joke, Lisa realizes that she can pretend to have a Native American heritage. After little moral deliberation, Lisa makes up her own Native American tribe. She sees the word Hitachi on the microwave and decides to adopt that name for her tribe. Even though Lisa knows that what she is doing is wrong, she can't help but steal someone else's culture, like a red-blooded American. Plus, Lisa's grades matter to her more than any moral law in her way of thinking.
Is it wrong for me to appropriate the culture of a long-suffering people?
Lisa then gives her presentation at the school. Her speech is dramatic, based on lies and rooted in emotions. Lisa pretends to be from a tribe that was brutalized by white people. She tells tales of fighting war and disease, and pretends to have a great and noble heritage. But her words are empty, and no one questions the validity of her claims. In fact, Principal Skinner decides to promote Lisa at City Hall and allow her to present information on her fake tribe to hundreds of real people. Lisa is pleased, but since she based her presentation on lies, Lisa is not really looking forward to the consequences of her actions, and she runs away crying. Meanwhile, in another part of Springfield, a fire spreads due to very implausible reasons. And somehow this fire has a mind of its own. As it makes its way towards the city centre, chaos and confusion spread. The fire even reaches the school. And Principal Skinner desperately tries to save the only place where he can feel in control of his life, but he quickly learns that all of the fire extinguishers have been stolen.
What monster or pair of monsters would steal our extinguishers?
Turns out, Bart, all of the extinguishers, build his own racing cart. While Bart amuses his childish tendencies and blasts through the entire city, the fire has also made its way to the flammable district. Everyone starts to panic, but when Bart's fire extinguisher engines put out the raging fire, he is hailed as a hero.
I is a hero!
Now that Bart saved the city by his own recklessness, he is given the opportunity to get anything from the mayor of the city. Bart thinks of all the wacky, dangerous things he could, but he decides to ask for a driver's license. Bart's wish is granted, and before you know it, the suicidal 10-year-old boy is now driving around town with his new license. Now that Bart can drive around, all of a sudden, Homer has really opened up to his son. Even though he used to constantly strange Bart like a maniac, Homer teaches Bart a thing or two about driving. And soon, Bart is cruising around town in his new wheels. He drives everywhere and treats the vehicle like his personal skateboard. At the same time, Lisa also continues to do reckless things by taking her Native American lie to the next level. After Lisa gives her speech at City Hall, she is interviewed by a Native American journalist, but she can barely keep up with the lies. Back at home, Bart thinks his newfound freedom is perfectly safe, but then Homer lays down some ground rules. He gives Bart a phone which Homer intends to use when he needs to use Bart's driving services.
Hold on there, boy. If you want to keep using that car, you'd better start pulling your weight. This cell phone is so I can call you whenever I need your driving services.
Homer is completely insufferable when it comes to using Bart as his personal chauffeur. He keeps calling the boy at all hours of the day and night. Homer even calls his own son to pick him up after a night of drunken escapades. One day, while driving around trying to complete stupid errands given to him by Homer, Bart decides that he has had enough, and he drives far, far away from the city. He decides to leave and find someplace fun. And lucky for Bart, he finds a town where he can truly feel at home. A place full of strange attractions and weird comic book stores. In this town, Bart decides to cruise around and find some girls to impress, but he ends up finding a girl who is going to end up changing his life for the worst. The girl's name is Darcy, and she doesn't care that Bart is clearly underage. She is willing to share several romantic moments with him. While Bart runs off with Darcy, he completely ignores all calls from Homer and pretends like he doesn't have a family back home. Bart and Darcy continue sucking each other's faces and pretending to be a perfect couple. But one day, Darcy decides to ruin the whole thing by asking Bart to marry her. Even though Bart has no idea what is going on, he accepts the strange request.
Oh man, I must be the first guy who was ever pressured into marriage.
Darcy moves real quick when it comes to trapping Bart, and the following day, she takes Bart to the courthouse. Unfortunately though, Bart is just too scared to sign the papers, and he admits to Darcy that he is only a 10-year-old boy. Darcy is surprised, but she decides to come clean as well. Apparently Darcy is pregnant, but the child does not belong to Bart. It turns out that Darcy got pregnant, and for some reason, she saw this small boy and thought he would make a great father. Darcy is terrified of her parents finding out about her pregnancy out of wedlock. They are going to kill her. Bart decides to be the bigger person, and he offers to marry Darcy. However, the odd couple needs to go to Utah where, of course, marriage laws are looser, and a child can get married to someone older. Bart imagines his life in Utah, and has some wild ideas about what the place is going to be like, which convinces him to make the move.
Oh, Bart, you are an extreme husband and an extreme father.
Meanwhile, Lisa speaks at a conference and addresses other Native American people, as she blatantly lies on stage like a good politician. Lisa starts feeling awkward and decides to reveal the truth to everyone. However, even though Lisa was hoping for some fairy tale type of ending where no one gets angry at her, instead, she is met with anger and burning arrows.
Surely you can forgive a little girl who...
As Homer escorts Lisa away, Bart is quickly realizing just how horrible married life is going to be. Luckily for him, Marge learns of Bart's little secret, and she implores Homer to do something about it. Homer is all too keen on blaming Darcy for getting knocked up before marriage, even though Marge herself married Homer because she got pregnant out of wedlock.
I mean, what kind of tramp gets knocked up before she's even married?
I did.
Before Homer can dig himself a bigger hole due to his careless words, Marge starts inquiring about Bart's whereabouts through the usage of Homer's credit card. Back in Utah, Bart is about to get married, but Marge interrupts him and tries to show him reasoning and enlightenment. At first, Bart is defensive and even tries to take down Darcy's father.
Utah karate!
But Darcy cannot take the cringe anymore, and she decides to speak to her parents. Darcy tells her parents that she was scared of being disowned. But in reality, she had nothing to worry about because her parents are quite supportive. In fact, Darcy's mother is going to have a child as well. Darcy resolves everything with her parents, and she thanks Bart for sticking with her. The Simpson family returns back home, and at night, Homer tucks Bart in bed while hearing his son talk about wanting to be a dad. As someone who knows how much of a trap marriage is, Homer decides to stay falsely optimistic for Bart's sake.
Son, one day you're going to be a great father.
Bart and Homer share one final ride together.
Twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
Where they sing the safest song to sing on television due to copyright reasons. It was great and funny seeing Bart in love, just like the time he fell in love with Milhouse's cousin Annika, and he will do anything to be with her. If you want to see what happens, click on this video next, but not before you hit those like and subscribe buttons.